Hello everybody, now we will be going over the KTronic 100 controller, the upgrade from the KTronic 10 controller that we saw before. Looking at the home page, we can see that this is now a touchscreen digital display. Looks much nicer, very good diagram on the front here. We still have our start and our stop buttons. We have our air pressure and oil temperature on the front screen there, as well as date and time here. It also shows us a diagram of the machine showing that the motor is running, the air end is spinning, and it is pulling in and producing compressed air, as well as showing us that the fan is running. So very cool. If we stop it here, we can see that that diagram stops and it shows us that none of that is happening anymore. Okay. On the home screen, we can also see any faults displayed. It will start with the time of the fault and then what the fault actually is there. So now that we have that fault displayed, we will not be able to start the machine. So that's the first thing that we'll look at. Going over to the triangle with the exclamation point in it, we will see our fault log here. All of our faults are logged on the left side here, and we can actually flip between any date that we want to see what faults have been saved in this controller. We can go all the way back to 2023 on this one. Okay, so now we are on today's date and we see our emergency on fault here. I just pressed the emergency stop. So to reset this fault, all we're going to do is click this red button here. If that goes green, then that means that our fault has been reset. What can also happen though, if we press this reset and it goes green and then red again, that means that that fault is still engaged and it is not able to be reset yet. So acknowledging that fault and resetting it again, we can see that that fault is now reset. Okay, going over to our wrench and screwdriver, we will see our maintenance timers here, as well as our total running time in the top there. To reset our maintenance timers, we must go into this maintenance setting window here. You'll see login pop up at the top. Keep the user as admin, and the password is going to be 111111, 6 ones. Hit enter and then hit the login button. It will send you back to the screen, but now when you click the maintenance button, you will find this page here. To reset these maintenance timers, all we're going to do is click the reset button and then confirm that reset. Now that oil change has been reset to 4,000 hours, and we could do the same thing with the rest of the settings there. To change the actual interval timing of these maintenance settings, we're going to click the time setting button, and then we can click directly on whichever one we want to change and do that here. To go back to the previous window, we'll hit this arrow here, and we are back to the maintenance settings here. Okay, going left to the settings wheel settings, we will see our pressure setups. This is exactly like the KTronic 10 controller. We have our unload setting and our delta pressure setting here. We also have our stop venting time, restart delay, and start delay. All settings that we saw in the KTronic 10 controller. Okay, to get farther into the settings of the KTronic 100 controller, we need to click this System Settings button here. It'll pop up that login window again, and we can again click that password screen here and type in 111111. Click the login button again and click the System Settings button again. Here we will actually be able to change all of these settings like our maximum and minimum pressure, our standby time, oil temperature alarm, and minimum temperature alarm. We also see that we can change between bar and PSI, as well as Fahrenheit and Celsius on this screen. We also see the 2 arrows here, left and right, as well as 1/4, meaning that there are 4 windows. Going to the second window, we can see our start or run type here. Again, we just have star, delta, or drive. That cannot be changed within this window. We then also have our starts and stops per hour, same as the KTronic 10, and then our fan control settings as well. Going right one more time, we have our pressure transducer settings functioning the same way as the KTronic 10 controller. This last window here is sequencing control settings, which we will not be going over today. So going back to the home page now, let's go to the right and see what we find. So going to the pressure gauge there, we can see our total hours, our loaded hours, and our unloaded hours. We will also see our air pressure and oil temperature, and again we have 3 pages here which we can click through. If this was a variable speed drive machine, we would be able to see the motor speed, motor current, and motor voltage. We can see our air pressure here though. Again, if this was a variable speed drive machine, we would be able to see our voltage, speed, power output, working frequency, and motor load factor. Very good things to watch for. Going to the graph setting here, there are a few things that we are monitoring. First, we can see a pie chart of our load and unload hours. This is great for making sure that our duty cycle is within specifications. Going to the second page, we see a graph of our oil temperature over time. We also see our air pressure, our free air delivery, which is just the flow of air from the compressor, the motor speed if it was a variable speed drive, and the motor power output if it was a variable speed drive. All very good things to monitor for the health of the compressor. Okay, going to the little stopwatch setting in the bottom right, we will find the timetable setting. What this setting here can do, we'll look at the example that's already set in the controller. From Monday to Friday, we have on set to 8, off set to 12, on set to 13, and off set to 17. What that means is this compressor will turn on at 8 in the morning, turn off at 12 for 1 hour to turn back on at 1 p.m., and then turn back off for the end of the day at 5 p.m. This is a great setting to utilize if the customer's demand hours are known. So let's say that the customer works from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day with a lunch break from 12 to 1. This would be the perfect settings, and the customer would never need to worry about walking up and turning the machine on. It's a very handy setting. With any questions regarding the KTronic 100 controller, please reach out to PneuTech Technical Support.